Welcome to Faith Alive in 5, the 5-minute gospel. Now here's your host, Dr. Faye.
Those 15 years between the oil and the crown were turbulent years. They were trying years, testing years. David was being prepared for something greater, transitioning from physical sheep to being a king. Could not have been easy. There was no college that could have taught him how to sit on a throne and rule and reign as a king over God's people. So God took him through his own kingdom school and taught David the things that he needed to know in order to make the decisions he needed to make to ensure the safety and the continual growth of such a great people. So at the age of 30, God set the crown upon David's head, and he began to rule Israel. The Bible tells us that David was 30 years old when he began his reign, and he reigned 40 years in Hebron. He reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, and in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years over all of Israel and all of Judah. This was the result of him being able to endure the period between the oil and the crown. And the reason I bring this up again today as we continue this series on closing the gap between the prophecy and the promise, I don't think that there is a better series to be taught right now, because so many people are stuck in business, stuck in relationships, stuck on jobs that they don't like, stuck with people that they can't stand, don't know what the next steps should or could be, and are not allowing themselves to fully breathe in the moment that God has graced them with, and are living a miserable life. People are doing miserable things because they're miserable. Have you ever heard the old saying that misery loves company? And you find birds of a feather that flock together, and that whole thing that goes on. And people are just stuck and doing things that they ordinarily would not do, know that they're not in line with their mission, with their vision, with their calling. We are at a place on our planet that every man and every woman need to know why we're here. Because the moment you tap into your true self of yourself and know why you're here, your world begins to change. David tapped into that. And we need to take a close look at him, because he's called the apple of God's eye. Yeah, he had issues. So do you, right? He had circumstances that, some of them could have been avoided, and some of them just were unavoidable. David became known as a man of blood, and God told him, even though he desired to build God a house, God said, no, you're not going to do it. It's for the generation that'll come after you, because you're a man of blood. You've killed just far too many people. I don't want you to build a house. Your hands are dirty. Your hands are bloody. But yet God loved him, and David loved God. Read the Psalms. You'll see how much he wrote the majority of the Psalms. He was a psalmist, and so he wrote the majority of the Psalms. But David would fight. You'll fight. Some of you will fight. David would fight, and he would destroy anything that came against his wives or his children. And he had 8 wives, and I've forgotten the number of children right now. But let me tell you something. Regardless of the number of wives he had and the number of children he had, it was nothing compared to what his son was about to have. And David still loved God. Why are we so judgmental of people and hard on people who are doing the best that they can to take care of their families? I'm not talking about people who commit crimes against other people. I'm talking about people who are struggling, trying to go to jobs that they don't like, and getting up in the morning to do things for their family. And these young moms, they're struggling hard, and then we sit in criticism of them when they're doing the very best that they can. What about a hands up? A hands up, y'all. Hands up. Hands up to helping people. I know this may be digressing a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. We're good. Hands up and start supporting rather than condemning. The Hope of the Delta is out there offering a hands up. Yes, restoration of hope, offering a hands up and a hand out too, to help as many women as possible. Why don't we, as people, as human beings in this culture, start sensitizing our hearts to the people around us? David was a man after God's own heart. God had a soft heart for David. Don't you want God to have a soft heart for you? You want the gap closed between the prophecy and the promise. Work on softening God's heart toward you. God bless you. I'm out of time again on this show. I love you. God bless you. Until next time, remember, the calling is a gift, but the choice is yours. Check us out at happychurchinternational.com.
Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast. Dr. Faye would love hearing from you. Contact her today at 870-860-9758 or email coach@drfaye.com. And remember, the calling is a gift, but the choice is yours.